Hello guys, welcome to our recording streams concerning Smurfs, and we today have the following Smurf. We're going to discuss about this Linoseros Smurf, which we faced a few days ago, like it was on the end of November 28th. So Linoseros, I actually, for those who want to check his stats, is a Smurf account with currently in the AO2 rank with 230 wins and 216 losses in one-on-one. So basically a 50% win rate in one-on-ones, meaning that just this stat alone is enough to warrant him the suspicion that he is a Smurf. Because every Smurf, better, you'll see that among many Smurfs, they have 50% win rates. And it's not just 50% of a few games. It's like the wins and losses, even if they're big, it's always 50%. Very close. 49.65%. For me, it's 50%. The current ELO in this guy, if I click on Linoseros, uh, I'll just wait. I'll load the replay. So first you see how it started. So when I'm looking into the DO2 scoreboard, uh, this guy currently has 898 elo currently at the time I make this video in one-on-ones and a 50% win rate with a total of 209 total wins, 418 MP matches, multiplayer matches probably. So what we see about this guy, and it's that he is just massive military score, but we'll see what he did concerning the game. I always say the stats concerning the player because it's very easy to just say that the gamer might be or not a smurfer, seeing the game, but when you already know the stats, you already can have a suspicion that this guy is a smurf. But we'll watch what exactly did he do. This map, it was a I call this hideout map. Yeah, that's called hideout. Um, so let's see what this guy did. Look, in 2 seconds. No, look, 7 seconds of gameplay. This guy already did three things. Already the Smurf detector in the sort of 800 elo, at the time it was 800 something, was strange. You have one Vil instantly go for the house, for the first house, and the other two Vils, they go for the second house. And they don't waste any time. And at the same time, in this first kind of movement, you have the scout already patrolling in circular motion. This is the first sign. I'm noting it down. So look, he already has the scouts made in circular motion. At the time, I still was building the house. I scout also circular motion, but you'll see he'll be faster probably. We'll continue. He's already pushing his sheep. Right. Another sign that it could be a Smurf. Saying GLHF, good luck, have fun, it would normally be anything in any normal game. But sometimes it's just an indirect way of a Smurf to say you're going to be stoned. So this sign is not necessarily, it doesn't mean anything per se, but if you decide to match it with other things, it will make sense. You'll see. Because it's like, I'm a Smurf
Yes.
and I'm smurfing in your face. Here I just acknowledge, yes. Like, okay, he's being polite. Gathering sheep. So far, I don't have an issue concerning what he did. None is going for wood. Right. Find it very strange that a player has this specific build order. He goes with 6 vills on food, and only then proceeds to the lumber camp. He doesn't have, he didn't build anything else. He didn't even went for wood. And I normally, this is kind of like a style play. I went for wood. I had the same number of vills than him. Still was a bit far away in terms of, well, right. Next. He's scouting. So far, this doesn't mean anything in itself. Using the sheep to scout inside, don't have any problem with that. So the thing is that, yes, this guy has some sort of strategy. 6 vills on food, and on the lumber camp, 2 vills go for the lumber camp. So it's like the first 6 vills, they went all on food, and anything else that comes will go for lumber camp. You have 3 vills on wood. Also strange that he's using the hotkeys to patrol here. And see how quickly he went for my area. As for me, I was not even looking outside at this time. But look at the haste this guy took. And this is a sign that you're potentially facing a Smurf. Only 2 minutes, less than 3 minutes of game, 258. You already see him scouting full force in the Dark Age, scouting my base perimeter in less than 3 minutes with the scout. I mean, I don't say you will not scout the opposing player, but I didn't even scout, I just started scouting now. So you see the difference. When I was starting to scout, this guy already had scouted a lot. And look at this. No, he was using the hotkeys with the scout. He goes for the boar at the same time. Suspicious. So he does several things at the same time: the boar hunt and the scout. The scout path scouting, to call it correctly. So this player is hyper polyvalent, or I don't know what. And he uses his TC to shoot at the boar. How many things is the player doing at the same time in just 3 minutes 45? He's using first a veil to lure the boar. His TC, he actually is able to use his scout to just make a circular kind of motion around my camp. So he also is able to use his scout to entirely go after my camp perimeter. Perfect execution of camp perimeter. So it's, again, very strange. Meanwhile, look, I'm just scouting around here and there. I'm a player with 800 something yellow, and this is what I'm doing. And this guy already went straight for the base, everything, little perimeter, everything. And while he was scouting, he was able to learn the spore with the villager, gather his villas inside and shoot at the boar, and finally kill the boar. So everything very fast. He garrisoned before in the town center. All this in under 4 minutes. So right now, even if we didn't use about his win-loss score, he's a candidate of a Smurf. Look at the abuse of hotkeys with his scouts. You wouldn't need to do this, you know? But this scout pathing, where he scouts perfectly in rectangular motion everything around my camp perimeter, it just says everything. You see what I was doing, and you see what this guy is doing, and you understand that this is not an 800 elo player. So I was cheated by this scumbag. He still is able to, do several things at the same time. Either the guy is very intelligent, or he just practiced this game billions of times before and appears as intelligent just because of that when he's not. So what he did here, he lured the goat so that he lured the goat. He sent the goat to his TC, where his vills would continue to gather the goat, not losing any time. And at the same time, he scouts. Okay, now he sees that I'm pursuing him. He runs away. I don't have any issue with that. But this guy is already abusing of the hotkeys. The hotkey abuse is flagrant from this guy. Look at all the pathing he did with his scout. He has covered the entire escape plan. He decided to just go around and here. Now, normally, if I would be hunted down, I probably would just return to my base. No, this guy doesn't do that. He just decides to go around, make a big U-turn, and back. Now, you dare to tell me this guy is not a Smurf? This guy is not brilliant, he's just a busted criminal. Smurf. So the scout pathing at exactly 505 in this game tells everything I need to know. So this is the ultimate evidence that he's a Smurf. It's kind of like sad, you know, that you're playing the game when you already have been trashed by a guy who is already showing skills that should not be shown in this cell. They should not be shown in an 800 elo. This is not something of an 800 elo player or any lower elo player. Probably this is something above 1k, whatever. We continue. We already have the ultimate evidence. This guy's smurfed. You see how with little things you can find out cheaters or just players who abuse and exploit the game features. He goes for the second board, is able to garrison inside, ungarrison, and kill the board. Again, this is something of a professional, and an 800 elo player cannot do this. Not competently. He cannot have his eyesight concentrated on luring the boar, plus garrisoning the vills inside, letting them out after one shot, and also like ungarrisoning them. It's crazy what this guy did. He garrisoned his vills He let exactly one shot out and garrisoned them 1 second later. This is a professional thing, you know. I sometimes garrison or I don't, but as someone who is like starting in these 800 elo, I don't do this hyper confidently like this guy. So this guy is not 800, and he's able to ungarrison. So because what happens is that if you decide to use all your vills, you know, the inside the town center and kill the boar, he will not get the food. So he gets the boar exactly to the point where his HP is too low, but not killing it, ungarrisons, and only then after that kills it. And meanwhile, he still continues to go for the sheep. In this case, they call the goats. And still goes for the sheep. In kind of an industrial production. So it's like he continues to mass produce sheep. They're like in a pipeline. One is dead, the other continues to move. And at the same time, is building the mill. Meanwhile, I'm hunting the boars, but you know, I'm just hunting them normally and nothing exceptional. 14 vills, and this guy already has 16 vills. So he already happens to have more 2 vills at this time. A villager racer. It's a sign that it could be smurfing, even if the rest would not be seen. Already 2 vills more. Because I was house and he was not? Maybe. But he's not wasting any time. So another thing, you see this flag? So it was not enough for this guy to make a house.
Olá!
He also had to place the hotkey for the house. Smurf. It's an abuse, you know. A Smurf typically will abuse the hotkeys in the 800 elos. He needed to make a house, a second house, with a hotkey. Why is that? He would just place the house. So again, very strange. Let's see what the scout has. I bet he has an entire line. Yeah. Again, you can see it. The scout pathing is full of abusive hotkeys. It's endless. So he is just making a complete circular vision of the map. The scout pathing gives away everything. Everything I need to know. Because like I'm starting, you know, with my scouts. But you know, it's just I'm going around here and there. I'm not abusively exploring. And this guy is giving a geometry class. What a clown. What a clown. Saw that?
Quais as vossas ordens?
Estou pronto.
He saw, you see, like he did the hotkeys with the deers.
Estou sim. Quais as vossas ordens?
Look at this. Hotkeys for every little deer that is here. So like as soon as he finishes the war, race for the deers. So it's like he's a hunt racer, and at the same time, he's already going for mining. You understand that this guy wants to go fast castle. 19 vills. Meanwhile, I have 17 vills. Continues to have 2 vills lead. Strange. And he goes for stone. What? And again, another hotkey problem. He's telling the vills to go for this wood, this and this one. Why? Because he probably wants to farm at all these places. I call this a hotkey abuse. and it's visible at 7:52, where every single tree, all trees in between the TC and the wood camp, they have to be cut. Like, I might have gone, for one or the other, but why this? Why this need to chop down one, two, three, four, five, these six trees? It's it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. Because look, I had lots of trees. I don't go for these 4 or 6 trees. I just went for the wood line, like any normal person would do. Any normal player does in the cellar. Any honest player. I'm going for stone, okay, I could be going for gold, no problem. So even the micro tells you that this guy is something strange. Another hotkey abuse to make the house, and with the hotkeys. So it's not enough for the villager to take him out of the wood, he needs to place the hotkey. House plus hotkey. It's insane.
Sim, olá. Estou pronto.
These villagers don't have the hotkeys. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's already racing to feudal age. Before 7 minutes, something. Already racing to feudal age. Now, I know that there are players who say, once you got 18 villagers or 19 villagers, immediately race to feudal age. So it could be one of those high elo players disguised as a Smurf, which still is a cheater in these elves. He's hunting, is finishing everything. What he'll be doing next is strange. Now he decides to make the blacksmith and a house. The most evident thing that this guy was smurfing is the scout pathing. It was just too perfect, to just go around my camp, everything around. And all those hotkeys abused with the scouts. Those were the two most evident signs of smurfing. His scout pathing, where it was just too perfect, and the exact paths he explored and the way he used his scout to explore. Just going for a fast castle. Market. I don't have any issue with making houses outside. It's acceptable. But meanwhile, I still have one villager less. This guy races for vills. He is always pumping vills. And you see, he already has hunted everything down. While I was still hunting, this guy already hunted. He was a racer. If you find someone racing so fast, and you already know the score difference. The score difference at 13 minutes tells you that something strange is going on. Because he already has at least 200 something points. Almost 300 points of lead. So I would tell this as a sign. Plus 300 lead score difference. Under 13 minutes. And without any battle. Without any battle. If there was any sort of skirmish but To have 300 score difference at this time, it's not just about exploring. You know that something is going up. Meanwhile, he's got more villagers on everything. At least one more on stone. Doesn't waste time, he wants to go fast castle. Say what? Let's see what he did next. Barracks. And we should know what exactly that scout is doing. This guy's insane. This guy is totally insane. And I don't say this in a good manner. It's he's a total clown, an imbecile. Because he wants to make sure he scouts every little path, every single little path. What a clown. Like, I'm doing a sort of minimal scouting, a normal scouting, like any player. And this guy already scouted everything. What an imbecile. Total trash fact. Because what kind of player, 800 elo player, is concerned about scouting every little bit corner of the map? For that to give him points? I mean, there's something else. And he's scouting for the relics. He's cleaning up everything, you know. He doesn't want to give any single little piece. He's scouting every little bit. He's obsessive. Last castle age. He was still behind. Of course, I had less fills. He still had more vills than me and already was castling. And I had less. It's crazy. And he's got 600 stone already. I have 4 on stone, but he has more on stone. No, now he actually had less. He has 3, but... And only now he looms. And I think this guy decided to go for a castle build. Here the game sounds pretty normal. But it no longer is normal because of the score difference, the kind of exploration it did, and the exact kind of build. Another thing you have noticed, look at his farming architecture. Do you see any empty spots? No, you don't see because there are no empty spots. And now let's take a look at my farms. You see, I did not cut the trees and everything because, you know, I just decided to go along with it. And this guy previously cutted all the trees so that all his farms could be completely filling this place. So I say that the perfect farming architecture is a giveaway that this guy is a Smurf. Perfect farming architecture, and but perfect, it's not perfect, it's perfect shitbag, because there are no empty spaces. No empty spaces, no waste. This is a professional build-up. This is not an 800 elo player build-up with 12 farms. 12 farms with no empty spaces, no nothing. And here, I still was doing a few farms, but how many farms did I had at the time? 4? 5. 5, and with plenty of spaces. So this guy had 12 farms versus 5 of my farms. Farms versus 12 farms. So this means this guy had more than the double of farms than me. 31 vills, and of course 32. Well, in terms of vills, it looks the same. But this guy already has the double number of farms. He's making a stable. Going for knights. And for the relics. So the relic racer on 20 minutes is going for relics. Well, it took a bit of time for him to make the monk. It's not queuing yet. Oh, he doesn't have gold yet. He just made the monastery. And here he goes for the castle drop. So under 20 minutes, he goes for castle drop. Castle drop race. Tell me this guy is 2k without telling me, or 1 point something k without telling me he is not 2k or 1 point something k. It was going to castle dropping. It's obvious. Like, I had enough stone, but I did not proceed it to make my defensive castle yet. And this guy just decided to run. It's disturbing. Here he realizes that at least I saw him coming. He brought a knight with him. Here I was building the castle. I decided to get his vills, but he already brought here this guy researched the armors. It just happens that he killed my vills here. Another sign that this guy's a Smurf. Once they're attacked, he continues to tell them, build the vill, build the castle, build the castle. So another sign that this guy is a Smurf is that he's able to still group his vills to continue build castle without moving. Even under attack, even under castle attack. So this guy is a professional. Obviously, any player, of course, the castle is almost completed. And now it just decides to go for the organ units. That hurts. Another sign that this guy is a Smurf. He uses instantly goes for petards. Goes for petards. For petards. So this guy already knows exactly what to do in these circumstances. It's not something an 800 elo player does. An 800 elo player like me, or at least an honest 800 elo player, might I add, would do a defensive castle in order to stop Doom and would try to catch up. But guess what? That only increased his Vill's lead. So he already now has still 3 plus 3, 6. He has 6 Vils lead by this time. How massive is this when you add up the rest? Let's see what he's doing. Petards, just petards. I tried to go for the Hussite wagons because that's my best hope. But this guy just went professionally. He used the petards to blow the castle. That's it. The Hussite wagon's doing some work. But guess what? With my Echo under attack, him having 5 more Vils than me. 5? No, not 5. 10. Look at the difference. 27 Vils and 37. This guy is already with 10 Vils lead. Tell me this guy's not a Smurf. He's a Smurf. He's able to continue produce Vils and not be distracted by what's happening on the front line. It's not because you're cold-headed. It's because you did this thousands of times. Because if you're doing this like in the first few times as an 800-year-old player, you will not be able to do your echo at home and at the same time start to this. Again, nothing wasted here. And he's just trolling me because I need to repair the castle, and by repairing the castle, I will lose those vills. I really was, I didn't know what to do here. Because if I would repair the vill, I'd be dead. If I didn't repair the castle will lose hit points. And I still would be dead. If I would repair the castle, I would still be dead. What the heck is this? I told you that the game was looking impossible. Here I asked him if he was a Smurf. And the guy said yeah. Okay, this is ultimate evidence. Yes, you can be a clown and say, I'm not a, you might not be a Smurf, and you just say yes to tease and to clown. But when you say you're a Smurf, when you deliberately say you're a Smurf, and everything I've looked upon before is a Smurf, if he says yes, he confessed. This guy confessed to be a Smurf. So, to the, let's say, the piece of craps who dare to sell this idea that this Linoseros is not a Smurf, if he himself confessed to be a Smurf after all I've said, and I probably did this already some 20 minutes before, this, not sure how long this rec already is, but I already have like 17 with this confession, 17 different things proving that this guy is Smurfing. 17 evidences, not just one or two, my friends. So the clowns will come to me telling the comments later, or at any time that's saying that, oh, they're not Smurfs. They confess to be a Smurfs. So don't be a clown yourself by saying that he's not a Smurf when he confessed himself. And when I showed you the evidence is there. And it's public. It's made public for public exposure of the shitbag players behind these Smurfs. So with this, I could already just say, okay, you're a Smurf. This game will never be fair or balanced because obviously I'm much less skilled than a 2K player or potentially much higher. And if I'm facing a player that lies to me saying that he's 800 elo when he's triple that elo, there's no interest in me in playing that. There's no interest. Here he decides to wall. Some kind of extra carry takes. Here it just booms. It doesn't need to do anything. And he already has his attack plan. Of course, I spotted his petards, and I decided to hit him with my own petards. I attack his spikemans, but to no avail. And this guy already making a siege weaponry. Look, look here, the the daringness. I don't even say the daringness, the insolence. The insolence of this guy who decided to build the wood camp and a siege workshop just in my face near the castle. Now, normally, any other player would do a siege workshop around his base or probably close, and his wood camps would be close to the base. But no, he decided to make a wood camp here, and he already called his vills probably to get some more wood. He's filling his castle with elite units, with the organ units, so he just needs to pump them up. 48 vills, and meanwhile, 34 vills. 34 to 48. 14 villages of difference. 14 vills lead at 30 minutes. So in every part of the game, you always had vills lead. During a long time, it was 2 vills lead, then it grew to like 10 vills lead, and finally to 14 vills lead. Disgusting Smurf. I got his vill there. Still going for ballistics. Obviously, I told him that he has to be a troll. He has to be a troll. This guy's not 900, he's lying. You're not 900 yellow, and you do all this sort of scouting on the map. This guy scouted almost 90% of the map. Let's see how much he scouted. 76% of the map. And he cannot scout more because the main area is just woods, but he scouted everything, almost everything of the outside. Meanwhile, look at what I scouted. How can he be a 900 yellow player? He's not. He's a liar. Okay, he's just lying. He's a piece of shit. Now he just continues to troll me. And the fact that you know that he's smurfing is that he's building an attack base straight into my face. Attack base in the face, I will call it. He's not afraid to commit resources behind his dying castle, because guess what? He knows that he's a smurf, he's just going to stomp me. Here I was just trying to build away from this chaos, but I obviously couldn't do anything. He knew that the game was won because he was smurfing. I would never have any chance. He used the organ units to just go around here and there. And this guy calling me an imbecile by saying, what is that? What is a smurf? He says he doesn't know what's a smurf. Everyone playing AO2 knows what's a smurf. And that's a player who pretends to be an elo. They're not. That is a player who appears himself officially in his profile under a certain elo, for example, 700, 900, 1.5 elo, when in fact his real elo is 2.5 or 3K or 3000 elo, yeah. Why? Because that player has multiple profiles. He has one main profile that has his real elo, and then he decides to have a multitude, if not hundreds, dozens of other profiles, each of them for lower elo players. So for example, the player under 2.5K will have a profile for like 700, another for 600, another for 800 elo players, and so on and so forth until 1.5K. So, and in every of these elos, he will continue to play with the same style he plays on the 2.5K. This is why the game is rigged. The yellow ladder is rigged because the player is using his skills of 2.5K in 600, 700, 800 elo, 1.5K elo. It's insane. It should warrant disqualification with these players. That's why it's not serious. So the players who are rigging the game, they should be disqualified, permanently banned, because they don't respect. They present themselves in a dishonest way. They're lying to their constituents. If I'm a 2.5K player, I cannot present myself in a match of 600 elo and say my elo is 600. So from 600 elo to 2400 elo, that's at least 4 times. Make your math. Always make your math. I continue to say math is the enemy of the Smurfs. Uh, 2.4, it's like 4 times more. Here, I don't believe him. I say he's lying. He just has the game, here. We're just talking like, I've been smurfed, massively smurfed. I know you're just trolling me. I cannot win this game. I'm just being steamrolled. He has map control, he has vills, he has all. I have lots of vills, that's true at this time. But look at my resources and look at his. I was struggling. He was perfectly fine. Because these organ units, I don't think they cost gold. They cost food. Because if they don't cost food, everything became super easy for him. Let's see, where the elite organ units and the organ units? It just costs wood and gold. So he doesn't have to worry anything about about food. He saves for food, and in my case, my echo is bad, and I need more vills at the same time to produce. This guy just pumped up. Now it's just unique units, unique units, unique units. You see that the guy is barely moving at this time because he knows he has the game. He doesn't. It's like what a contrast between the early game where every smallest gesture was calculated, and now he sits back. He sits back and enjoy because he knows that he would stomp me. He said, "Okay, this guy is stomped." Here I try to defend as desperately as possible, and look how he moved his knight so quickly. Look, he goes for the relics, no problems. What? Let me see if he tapped every single relic already. If he captured every little relic. Where's the monk? We'll find the monk.
Olá.
Estou pronto. Sim.
Not seeing that monk, but I'm sure. Oh, he's there.
Sim, por Deus.
Let's just check if he has.
Quais são as ordens?
I think he picked like 2 or 3 relics in hotkeys already. Then I decided to attack his base, you know, just to buy myself some time. That he has got tons of food. And goes for another castle. Here I just take time, because I don't know what to do. I took time, you know, because of everything. Here I realized that he makes a castle, he has enough. Look at all the echo he managed to get. With the rams and everything. This guy is a Smurf. He commits. And I would say this blitz attack, or lightning speed attack on the castle. Blitz attack on castle H, 4 rams, and like 10 organ units. The amount he committed for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 rams. To make 5 rams, you actually need what? To make those rams. So each ram costs 160 wood and 60 gold. So if you do this by 5, 6, 35, 8. It means he had 800 wood in reserve and another 300 gold in reserve. The amount of echo this guy needed to have for 800 wood and 300 gold. Look at my gold and everything. I tried to go in. It just was not possible. And see the amount of things he does. He brings the rams to attack the castles, and the organ units can do 2 things: attack the castle and attack the vills that repair the castle. So if you see, he is microing 2 things at the same time. He doesn't mind to lose his organ units. He has 2 specific
Quais
goals.
são as vossas
With the
ordens?
rams, they go for the castle,
Sim.
and those organ units are for the vills repairing. Like, it's an abuse. This guy is just an abuse. Now he goes back. And I think he just... Okay, now we're seeing the hotkeys with the monk.
Ao seu dispor.
He goes for every relic in the world. Second, so he already has pressed several hotkeys. And I can say this, the relic hotkey abuse. 21 signs that this guy is massive Smurf. 21. You need more? You need more. Well, if you're not satisfied, we continue to give you more until the end of the game. Because every single thing, we capture it. Every single thing.
Quais são as ordens?
Because it's like a criminal. You need to unmask every little disgusting, pathetic move he makes.
Sim.
And here, he went for the relic and already garrisoned the relic. I can
Por
see the
Deus.
hotkeys. Yeah, you can see it right here, right? There's a flag in the monastery. So the second relic has the hotkey in the monastery, or the gather point. Maybe it's called gather point. And he already has a third relic after that. So it's like get the second relic, put the second relic in the monastery, and after that go for the third relic. Let's see if he went for the fourth. Not yet, but we continue to see it. Fourth round. Okay, Smurf. Smurf and the guys who decide to say he's not a Smurf, they are just clowns in the comment section. And it's massive because he went third relic, monastery. You see 2 times. You see here 2 flags, 2 flags. One is on top of the other, but you see 2 different flags. So it's like get the second relic here, then go to the monastery, then get the third relic, go to the monastery, just like a stupid computer program. Go to the fourth relic, go to the monastery. Now you see three flags. And is he missing something? I think he'll go for the fifth relic, probably. He's so obsessed with the relics that I find it very strange he doesn't go. So the guy is literally trolling me. Now the light cavalry, I don't understand what was that for. Another siege workshop. It's completely quiet. Here I went Imperial Age, but to be Imperial Age at this time is irrelevant. Because, yeah, I had lots of resources. But I just felt that I could not do anything. Here I made a mistake. Okay, though I was smurfed, this was a mistake. But understand that there is a difference between making a mistake in a game without smurfs or making a mistake in a game where there are smurfs. And if you already are in a game of smurfs, then it's like the original sin, you know, like Adam and Eve. It doesn't matter anything you do later because the game is already polluted from the start. It's like you will never have it right because it started wrong. So I was just unlucky here. And of course, already tired that I was playing against a Smurf, I just quit here. Like, what could I do? The guy was such a troll, and he went for the fifth relic as well.
Ao seu dispor.
So it was not enough for him to go after those relics. He also went for this relic. It's abusive. You see that this guy was just trolling me. Every relic was on side, and he just like, get the relic, monastery. Now the second relic, monastery. And the relic, monastery. Of course he knows it's GG. Here I just fed up of playing against a cheater, and I say I resign. Because this guy just cheated. Yeah, I have a few, you know, of these. That knight makes organ units and he just pumps knights, because here he has relic advantage.
Olá!
He has three relics and the gold miners, and meanwhile I'm scrapping for life. It's it's revolting that you just face a Smurf that just does everything you want. Yeah. And it's a Smurf. I mean he took all the gold. Gold mine. It's crazy. And of course, every time I make one of those Hasset wagons, let's just check. Because that can also be a factor into account. Of course it is. Let's just check the Hasset wagon. Because I think that every time I make my unit, it costs far more. Of course it does. So the Hasset wagon, every time I want to make one, it costs 110 wood and 70 gold. Meanwhile, let's see how much is needed for the organ units. So as the Portuguese here. The organ units. The organ gun. Half of that. Almost. So for the organ units, you need 80 wood and 70 gold. Which means that for 10 units of identical nature, so he saves 30 wood for each organ unit. So by 10 units, he has 300 wood more than me. This guy, every time he makes 10 organ units, and I make 10 Hasset wagons,
Quais são as vossas
he already
forças?
has 300 wood more. So you see my wood here. Of course, I have 12 villagers on wood because I had to spare my villagers to save and protect the base, and he was wrecking it. And meanwhile, this guy obviously had less wood because he had to make all these battering rams. And that's where the thing comes. All that extra wood he had was used to make the battering rams. Because at least if he made 20 organ units at least, so that means that by the time he makes 20 organ units, compared to when I do 20 Hussite wagons, he saved like 600 wood. And with that 600 wood, he almost gets the 800 wood, plus obviously the gold, to build those battering rams he did. And those knights, obviously. But for those knights, it was easy. He had the food for the farms. He did not need the food to make the
Ao seu
organ
dispor.
units. And I obviously could not do anything because I was the one who had to use my vills to defend the base. Very ungrateful position. Here he just has to mass units. The troll. He's a troll. Look at this. You can see that this guy's a complete clown. An imbecile.
Sim.
Okay, he trolled me by converting a vill and healing it while my knight attacks. Because he knows that with the healing rate of he
Quais
has
dois?
against the Vil, my knight would never be able to kill the Vil. Well, it could, but eventually it would take time. So it was just trolling. Now he just needs to pump units and pump units. He has better echo than me. So it's like we're close on resources, but he already had so much gold stacked. I just tell the truth. This game was rigged, massively rigged. Like the massive stompers who appear in AO2 just to bully. Their purpose is to bully and to stop lower elo players or good elo players from getting to good ranks. So actually, very good or very professional players deliberately go down the lower elo ladders to just block players like me. They know that the normal players in this ladder are not, they're either okay, we can fight them well. So what they do is, in order to prevent us from going up the ladder, they artificially build their elo profiles on lower elos. They make 3, 5, 30 different elo profiles just to snipe on us every time we match make a game. And this way, it's impossible for us to rise if we face Smurfs like this. Like, the day we get good at these Smurfs, against these Smurfs, is the day like we need hundreds of hours of practice. And it's not something everyone has, obviously. So these guys are just trolling us. Right. So to recap, because I always recap uh, every time I see a Smurf, and that's why I make these Smurf videos, because one, there are people who don't want to believe that there are Smurfs, and two, because those who believe, they don't want to believe the extent of how this damages the game balance and how it corrupts the system, the game system. For me, it just rids and completely trashes the yellow system. Because if you allow exploiters like 2K or 3K players to come down here and just screw others just to have fun, for me, it's not good luck, have fun. So the guy, when he said good luck, have fun, he was just trolling. Right. I will quickly now read at least the 22 different signs, at least 22 different signs that this guy Smurf. He had strategy, of course. We also discussed about that. You know, it's the wood used for the rams and the fact that the organ unit does not require as much wood as the Husset wagon, so it means that under a considerable number of units, for example, by 10 units, you will save 300 wood. For every time, if I decide to make 10 Husset wagons and he makes 10 organ units, he will save 300 wood more than me. And every time he makes 10 more, 300 wood more saved. And that allows him to actually, that allowed him to make the rams. Those 5 rams who just wrecked my castle. First with the petards, but then it was the rams that destroyed us. Logically, I had this house thing here, not covered, but it would be to no avail. He had a lot of gold, so to recap, the 23 signs that this guy was a Smurf. We can check the stats. Obviously, very fast castle age, very fast castle age. Under 18 minutes. And the map exploration is absolutely insane from this player. I'll add this as another sign. The exploration above 85%, and the kind of exploration he did. Right, to recap. The 23 signs then. In the beginning, he went with his vills. In the first like 4 seconds, immediately builds two houses, one builds to the first house, two builds for the second house, and the scout immediately scouts in circular motion. All in 3 seconds. What? Second, the fact that he said good luck, have fun, when we realized that he just was trolling us completely. Three, is six foods, villagers on foods, and then on the lumber camp decides two and three. Like he had a specific order, something very deliberate. He was not just like going here and there. So professional like, nothing like an 800 elo player. Four, uh, on 2 minutes 58, he already was scouting my base, a perimeter, and only the base perimeter in a rectangular motion, perfect rectangular motion using hotkeys. At the same time, he was also able to lure the boar with his fills and use the town center to shoot the boar, garrisoning and ungarrisoning. What? Like, so insane. Is hyperpolyvalent, and hyperpolyvalency at 800 elo is something strange. Scout pathing. The scout pathing was abusive. The kind of gather points he had for the scout to make sure the scout only went by a specific point, only by the outside. That was a sign. Evidence Smurf at 5:05. Sixth sign. He was luring the boar, garrisoning the vills, at the same time shooting just one time, ungarrisoned vills 1 second later, and he still is going for the sheep. So he's able to quickly micromanage. Sixth sign. Seven. He's what was this? Oh yeah, he was building the house with the hotkeys. Like when he was building those houses here, the veil was not just building, there was a hotkey for like a gather point in the center of each house. Insane. Uh, Eight sign, he was a hunt racer and he immediately went for the, like, everything was super programmed. He went after the boars for the deers. He doesn't even waste time. Another, it's an indice. It doesn't mean you're a smurf in itself, but that adds up. 9. The hotkey abuse when it was at 7 minutes 52. All the trees in between the town center were destroyed, and meanwhile, I actually left some of my trees much later on until Imperial Age. So like, I was not even concerned. And this guy had to get rid of all the trees in between. Why? He needed to make a perfect farm build without any space wasted. Has he memorized how to build exactly each farm and the position of each ville when they are gathering the food? What an imbecile clown. So what else? Yes, the 10 sign, he already had a 300 lead score difference at 30 minutes of the game without any battle. Strange. Just because of its scouting, but that already was strange. 11th, the perfect farming architecture, which we just discussed about both, with 12 farms and no empty spaces at the time. Like this was in the beginning of feudal age. 12th sign, at the time where I had 5 farms, this guy had more than doubled my farms. He had 12 farms. 12. The double of 5 is 10. So 12 is more than that. Was almost triple, 15. 13. He went for relic race at 20 minutes, although he did not make a knock. He was making the monastery here. Instant castle drop under 20 minutes, particularly fast. So it's like he knew exactly what he was doing. And the kind of attack he used, what else? The 15th sign. He grouped villagers. Let me see what I have here to continue the castle without building. Oh yeah. Then the 5th sign that this guy definitely was, I understand. When all the vills, when I was already almost having that castle up, and of course those knights were tearing me up too. I too had my knights, but they still, despite the castle coming up sooner than this castle, I was not able to. The vills still disciplinedly kept building. The red Linoseros red villagers still disciplinedly kept building. So it's like this player had faced countless times where he was probably being attacked by a castle, and he still told them to continue hammer, 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 hammer like crazy. And this hammering to make sure that the castle was completed by every Vales is definitely a strange sign that you could be smurfed. So again, another sign amounting for smurf. The 16th sign that this guy was smurfing. Once the castle was built, he immediately straight away went for petards against my castle. For petards, he knew exactly what he was doing. He did not waste time. He did not make petards after 1 minute or after 2 minutes of, hey, maybe I made petards. He went straight for petards. Professional, smurf. Okay, this was another smurf evidence. And at the time, for those who found this strange, he already had 6 Vils lead, who became a 10 Vils lead because of the castle thing. Finally, at 70 sign, the guy confessed to be a smurf when he said, yeah, on chat. You did see. 18. He also decided to make like the daringness, he was so daring he didn't care. He took all risks because he knew I couldn't do anything, or basically little. He made a wood camp and a siege workshop, this siege workshop and this wood camp near the castle at the time, even before the rest. Like, what kind of player would make a wood camp here? They would still make a wood camp in their base. And as for the siege workshop, you only make a siege workshop only if you know exactly what you're doing. So this guy was professional. He was a smurf. 17. I call this, it's like the sum up of the 18th sign. It's an attack base in my face. Stables, two siege workshops and a castle. This guy was just building an attack base in my face. So again, a sign of a Smurf player. 20 sign, the blitz attack, the lightning speed attack in Castle Age using 5 rams, 10 organ units, and he just used everything, you know. He went straight for it. Sure, the Bohemians have the hoofness in the Imperial Age, but only in late Imperial Age, and not certainly if their echo is being ranked like this. So very difficult. So the kind of not just how he attacked so quickly and so massively with all these 2 units. And it's curious because he not just he attacked very fast with the rams and the organ units, but he had very specific roles. So it was a blitz attack with targeted roles: the rams for the castle and the organ units for the vills repairing the castle. You could only think of this if you did it hundreds of times or dozens of times. So this is not an 800 elo player, not Smurf. So the blitz attack and with specific roles. That's 20 sign. The 21 sign was the other thing here. The the relic hunt. Like it was first relic, second relic monastery, third relic monastery, fourth relic monastery, fifth relic monastery. What? The guy was just getting every relic. And if you noticed, of course now we cannot see it here, but he scouted every little part of the map outside. It was obsessive. The scout pathing he did in 5 minutes 5 and around that shows you that something is very strange with this player. And the kind of map exploration which you see, he explored everything around. While I was kind of like circular, going here and there, he knew exactly what he was doing. So Smurf by the relic kind of the the relic gather point thing. 20-second sign. Now he went here, like I had a mining camp. He went with the monk, he started converting a vill, then I came with my knight and started killing the vills. But guess what? The monk was sealing my vill, which at the time Let me
Full.
see. No, he still had the same hit points. So I did not research that technology. Um, he was able to kill, I was almost able to kill that Vil that was converted, but he still was healing that Vil. He didn't mind that. It was just, it was trolling. While the knight was attacking, he was still able to healing the Vil. Was having fun, you know? And finally, the ultimate sign here, 23rd sign, is the exploration of 85% at the end of the map. 86%, let me excuse this. Like, and it's not just the percentage explored, it's also how you explored, because when you noticed, it was, all around and exactly rectangular motion. So that was it for, excuse me, not this player, for this Linoseros player. And we'll continue to make more videos about Smurfs every time we get them. They discussed this, but I find it's more disgusting to not speak about these issues. So we'll continue to talk and expose them, every single one of them. And we have a bunch of them. So for now, I'm signing off. Thank you. And if you want to comment about this Smurf, you can do it. If you want to say that he's not smurfing, that I'm just not seeing things well, you can also write things. It's not my responsibility if you decide to show yourself as clown. And yeah, we continue. Thank you very much.